Good evening, everyone. What's up? A satisfying meal and topped it off with some easy dessert. This is Mr. Hata speaking. Previously, there was a review with MTD videos on is the new 3DS XL worth buying? Today is another review featuring guest star MTD videos, and today is a review on Nintendo requested by him. So, let's get to it, shall we? Nintendo. Nintendo was the popular video game from the early 2000s and 90s. Then sadly, it just lost its popularity in the late, somewhere between 2008, around 2008, it just lost its popularity like that. Well, there was a Nintendo, then came out the Wii, and then came out the Xbox and PS3 stuff, and yeah. So, MTD Video says it is the oldest game company in the world. So it's been around even before most of the YouTube people were born then. So most of the YouTube people are probably viewing this were probably born in like early 2000s or late 90s. So that's pretty cool. And it does show history right there. Wow. Fun fact by MTV Videos. It started in the 1800s as a Japanese card game company. Didn't know that. Probably most people who are viewing the video probably didn't know that. Wow. Now that's pretty cool. Then in the 80s, they made the games. Oh yeah, so it's been around since the 1980s. And yet the 1980s were dramatically different from now. Like in the 1980s, there was Mario vs. Donkey Kong. That was probably one of the most well-known games in 1988. There was like Super Mario Bros. 3, which wasn't. They were mostly 2D games, but they were pretty well-made 2D games though. They were infinitely better than Flappy Bird. And yes, sorry that Flappy Bird keeps getting brought up over and over again, but it is the worst game in history, and it's surprising anyone want to even play it. So in like the late 80s were Mario, Zelda, all stated by MTV Videos, Metroid, Duck Hunt, and more. In Donkey Kong, Mario was known as Jumpman. Well, yeah, because Mario does jump whenever he's defeating his enemy in those 2D games like Super Mario's 3. Yeah, Nintendo's probably what all the kids were probably playing in probably our age group. Or probably like the middle school and high school and elementary school and college kids were probably all playing. Because that was the big gaming part. So in the 80s, according to MTV Videos, Nintendo made the NES. Whatever that stands for, it will be explained pretty soon. The SNES and the N64 in the 90s. Yeah, the 90s were when a lot more video games were actually made. Like, there were more Zelda games, more Mario games. There was probably Crash Bandicoot. Sadly, it sadly like lost its popularity. Sonic, that was in the 90s. NES stands for Nintendo Entertainment System. SNES is Super NES, stated by MTD Videos. And the N64, which is the Nintendo 64. Ever hear Super Mario 64? That was made for the Nintendo 64. It's really sad they don't even make Nintendos anymore. That was actually pretty cool. The controllers were nice and colorful. One could see the whole system within because it was a clear color, so one could see like all the wires and all that in the controller. But during that time, they made the console that failed, which is a surprise. But however, people who succeed have failed before. A lot of successful people like Thomas Edison, they all failed a bunch of times. Unlike Game Boy and other games they had, it was Virtual Boy. Stated by MTD Videos, the reason for failing, it failed and tried to be the first console with 3D. And because there is limited time right now, there will be a part 2. Sorry, have to pick up another call right now on Skype. But anybody who's watching the video, if you would like to be a Skype guest or Google Plus guest, please drop your name, your Google Plus or Skype name in the comments, and you will be a part, by request, of these videos. And please subscribe to MTD Videos, because the more subscriber he gets, the more requests, the more ideas the other YouTube channel will get, and you'll have more friends, and then you'll have gained an extra friend, because he's not one of those subscribers that's just there and doesn't do anything. So with that, there will be a part 2 eventually, sometime soon, but perhaps not tonight. But with that, that's all there is to say for part 1 review on Nintendo. See one on the next review.